Hey, yo guys, welcome to another little video here. I just did the assassination mage tower, and I feel like there's a lot of questions and a lot of confusion regarding the mage tower, so I'm just gonna go over the talents and gear that I used to do this here. And if you like each other video here, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, all the good stuff. Check out the Twitch stream as well. Alright, quick video, so let's get to it here. So, my talents that I used are the following: Master Poisoner, Subterfuge. You want to make sure you vanish on cooldown and do free dodge on that later. I'll tell you about how the rotation is and how the mechanics going, because I feel like some of the guides that are written don't really cover how you should play your character here. So this is the Assassination Rogue one. I play Vigor, I play Leeching Poison, I play Internal Bleeding, Electricity, and Crimson Tempest. More importantly, for the gear, which I want to spend a bit more time on. So the gear here is really important. I'll start with covering like the most overpowered items. And trinkets as well, as long as all the other things here you gotta use. So, Pride's Magnum Opus, if you have it, is really good. Another alternative that everybody has is a Heart of Azeroth. Pick your poison. Pride's is a little bit better, as you can have a socket. You are losing one stat, but for that one stat you are gaining about 1% damage increase, depending on luck. 1 to 1.2% damage increase with the Mark of the Hidden Satyr enchantment, which is very good. Another piece is the first Satyr's boulders, which are shoulders that can be bought. No, they can't. They are hard to get and hard to drop. So if you've gotten them and you have them laying around in your bank, put those on. Random items, really, whatever you can put enchants on. This is what I used. I don't really necessarily recommend using the Siege of Orgrimmar gear. I think it's bait. You're losing out. Like, when you put the stats down together, you're not as high and you're having less armor, which is, you're going to take more damage. Don't use the Siege of Orgrimmar gear. What is actually really good is the weapons that I'm using here. Hellscream's Razor. So you want to upgrade these once here if you never upgraded them before, to make sure you have them available at item level 50. Don't upgrade them higher, because if you do, you won't be able to put Dancing Steel on them, which is the best in slot enchant. Then you want to drop in gems. I used the 7 haste gems. They are quite expensive, but they turn out to work really well. Just drop in the best gems you can afford if you can't afford these. Also, on the other one, I dropped in a 7 agility gem, the Leviathan's Eye. And just show you here the quick sand spinal, are they called the 7 haste gems. And they fit in this gear here. So actually I realized these here don't give 7 stats. So if you can't afford them and want like that little bit of competitive edge, if you have like millions of gold laying around, get the good ones. Right. So the rest of the gear is pretty basic. Pick whatever that has sockets, really, if you have. That is above item level 50. It's not worth going below that for sockets. And just as many enchanters you can get your hands on. One thing I'll do know, though, will stress again here, is the Legion Legendaries. Legion Legendaries that have free stats are really good. One thing that I possibly could have is that I believe there's a Legion Ring, the Interrupt one. The effect won't be active, but I believe it has free stats. So if you have a free stat ring, else, or another free stat item you can use, other than this, you can use the Heart of Azeroth and then use the free stat item. I believe I have some legs as well here. This was actually the good old legs that we used back in the old days. But I decided like to go for the just regular legs. They worked for me. I managed to pull 1.2k DPS in the fight. Just towards the end I dropped below. This is not from that. But yeah. So you want to pull 1.2k DPS. More importantly, for the trinkets. For the trinkets, I used Entwined Elemental Foci. This was what gave me the best result, the best trinkets of all the trinkets I tested. Other trinkets that I tested was Convergence of Fate. Convergence of Fate is really good. It does what it's supposed to do, and I think it would actually be a better option than most if you can't find the good ones. I tested this one here. Not good. I believe the File of Purification is 2% damage on the proc. That would have been double the usefulness of this. One thing I'll say as well here with the trinkets is this one here is kind of random. Darkmoon Deck Phalums, it was a BFA card. It was really overpowered when it came out compared to its item level. So I figured, hey, maybe it scales really well. It doesn't, but it's still pretty good if you can. And if you want to know the two best trinket as far as I could figure out, the trinket from Ursoc in Emerald Nightmare and the Ravaged Seed Pod from the first boss are the best trinkets. The Ravaged Seed Pod back in the day were really crappy. So it's kind of unexpected, but it scales really well. So go and pick those up and just blast them. Alrighty then. I think that covers there. I tested some other triggers. And I mean, this one was kind of interesting. Mirror of the Blade Master. They did a lot of burst, but overall, it wasn't that good. This one here, Spontaneous Appendage, also from Emerald Nightmare, was kind of crap. The Ever Blooming Front from the Nighthold is supposedly also really good. But again, Ursoc's Frenzy Trinket and Ravaged Seed Pods from Emerald Nightmare are the best ones. Remember here, you can clear Emerald Nightmare 3 times a week. I was not lucky. You're gonna do, I think you're gonna actually do 4, but I'm not sure if LFR drops them on item level 50. It should. But yeah, 4 times with LFR as well. You can clear those bosses for 4 chances to get the trinkets if you really want them. Alright, so to consumables here. You want to get some drums. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. At least not in the current state. There are rumors of a possible nerf coming in. But get drums. I used a regular flask. This was possibly the secret weapon. The secret source is the Potion of Unbridled Fury. It lasts for 1 minute and procs fire damage. A lot of fire damage. And it scales really well. And it did about 5% of my damage total. So definitely use these. If you played back in Legion, you probably have a Lightforged Augment Rune laying around in your bank if you didn't sell it. Use this 3 Augment Runes all you want. As good as they need to be. What else do we have? Don't use Edge of Night. It's not worth. I tested out some Crusader as there were some healing issues, but like I figured out the healing weren't necessarily good at all. So don't bother with Crusader. It's really expensive and I wasted a lot of gold. But hey, for science, right? So, potions. We got that sorted. Flask, food. I used the Colterian Potato Haste food. Haste is possibly going to be your best stat. Sinful Revelation and Light as Force were what I ended up using for enchants. I didn't test too many others. I just know Dancing Steel is best. I couldn't use that, so I was like, fuck it. Yeah, Flask of Power, Rune. Make sure you apply your Deadly Poison every time you go in. Don't forget that. Enchants. What else is there of enchants that are noteworthy? I think I've covered all the consumables, like verse enchant, crit enchant. Just enchant whatever you can. Make sure you have enchants on them. Lightless Falls did not do as much damage as I hoped, so like, don't bother with that one either. So, alright, this covers pretty much all I figured out for the things here. But yeah, to recap, Potion of Unbridled Fury, Ursoc Trinket, and Ravaged Seed Pod, overpowered. Next, almost overpowered, is Entwined Elemental Foci and Ever Blooming Front. Those are really good as well. If you are having enough damage, if you're making the 1.2%, 1.2k DPS, check. Or if they nerf it and you're struggling with healing, I love Indiscriminate Consumption. Is an extra health pod and does a little bit of damage. It's really good for defensive without losing too much offensive. Alright guys, that covers for like the trinkets and items you need to use here. Now I'll go over what you need to get for the boss itself. Alright guys, so here we are walking up to the boss. Yeah, I still have some consumables here, so we are just gonna so I'm just gonna explain the mechanics and stuff. You know what, let's just make a poll here and see if we can do it again. If I die, I died. It's really not that much, but I'll cover the stuff that you need to know here. So the first thing you gotta do is you gotta have a focus blind macro. And then, or set or focus at Titan Sigryn macro. And set Sigryn to focus. Every time she's about to cast, you're just going to press this macro. And that will solve almost all of your issues here. So I'm going to show you the opener and what I do here. So we are going to go in. And we are simply going to start the fight. Oh, just checking that I have all the things I need on here. I can actually pop this one. Alright, let's give it a go. So we bleed. Blade. We make sure here we are moving over. One thing you note is I actually have cheesed it a bit. I'm not using any sound. So we're going to keep as many dots up as we can. We are going to lust here as well with our dear drums. We are going to make sure we get as much up as possible. We are trying to position over here towards the side. Interrupting this one here. Dodging the axis. So whenever he is throwing axes around, you want to make sure you dodge the axis there. As he comes over here, I am bleeding him up again. And we're just keeping kiting him here. Drop kidney shot on him. You basically want to kidney shot this guy here to counter everything he does. And I bleed them up. And then I'll make my move over here to clear the runes. As we're going over. Alright. If you are needing to use a sprint to catch them all, it's really good. So here we are not gonna dot up Sigryn because we are gonna have to remove her dots anyway. So we clear out these here. If you're struggling with health at a point where you have her blinded, you can just leave her sitting here in the blind. But the trick is you want to use the blind to interrupt the cast, not just to keep her in it. If you goof up, you can keep her in it. So yeah, I'm gonna try and pull these guys away here as I'm taking quite a lot of damage from axis here. And I want to avoid that. Just gonna go in for the damage here and then just get away. So dodging axis, really, really important. And it makes it a lot easier. Once he comes walking after you again, then it's time to go. Alright, I'm not being as focused here as I should be, I can see. As I'm taking quite a lot of axis hit. That we shouldn't do. So we want to break this one here really quickly. And then it's time to go and dodge here. Basically, like, everything that happens has a audio cue, which is really nice. So she's standing still here now. At this point here, when she's standing still, what you need to do here is you need to stun this one. And then I know, so I'm not dotting her up specifically, because I know I'm going to have to break it right there. Every time you're blind, you remove your dots. So that's one thing you really want to keep in mind here. Also, you can delay a little bit picking up your fingers here. And we are just going to keep it going here. Alright, we step into this here. Just quick dips in here. Alright, we go here. Make sure we are positioned here for the things first. And then we go and deal with the runes after. Unless it's a small rune, then you want to make sure you go in at a good time. Alright, we go over here. Dot them up. So I'm losing dots here on a few of them. That's fine. Just making sure here we keep it going here. One thing is you don't actually have to like completely single target this guy down here with the shield. The shield has quite a long break time. Alright, let's just keep it going. And we'll do this. Da-da-da-da. Alright, we make sure we position ourselves for this. Oh, perfect timing. Berserker Rage. Again here, this is the one we want to kite and counter with kidney shots. So you can either throw some stuff at him. Want to get quickly in here and get that rune there. And then it's time for more runes. So again, try to make sure here, if you have to like deal with this guy here in runes, then pop a evasion. That is a-okay. Oh, sweet. So again here, this one here. So to not lose out on damage on this guy here, you can step in with a kidney shot. And internal bleeding here also does quite a lot of damage. Alright, I doubt I'm gonna make it, because that would just be too insane. But like, if I literally do this here 2 times in a row. Alright, we're gonna stun this here ASAP. And here, behold the speed of my axe. Then you know the next button you have to press is a kidney shot. The duration doesn't really matter of the kidney shot as long as you press it instantly. All right, we vanish here, making sure we get all the Garrots up. All right, we make sure we position ourselves over here. So yeah, now it says empowers all, right? Then you know we are about to get like where they are all empowered, which is kind of a bait because like in the beginning here they're not all empowered on the first one. All right, so we are just gonna kite this guy here for a little bit, and we are gonna run into safety. And we're gonna go a bit closer. We're gonna make sure we kidney him. All right, we get the healing orb. So see, this guy over here is not actually casting his thing. That was not how it worked back in the days, but a lot of this here is not how it is back in the days. All right, we move over. Again, here we make sure we interrupt. Now we get where they are all actually empowered. If you have an evasion here, you can use it to deal with this. But otherwise, it is just as fine to kidney shot this guy here. I had a bug yesterday where where the shield actually didn't break as I killed the first guy. Alright, we got the cast through here. So we gotta be careful here that we don't break that blind, because I was a bit late there. So if we break that blind now, we're dead. So we are gonna have to pump here a bit. One thing to note here, while Sigryn is blinded, so if you're feeling you're a bit struggling, Sigryn won't cast any abilities other than the empowerment when she's blinded. And there we hit the enraged timer. So see here, it is very tight. We are 2% off here. We pop evasion here. We cloak. I see here, I now realize my mistake. Hey, we made it anyway. So that is how you do it. And a complete walkthrough of the fight. I can't believe I fucking did this 2 times in a row while explaining it not being focused. But hey, that's the absolute complete guide. If you think that doing this here 2 times in a row was pretty amazing, or was it kind of like, oh, you just re-killed a normal boss? No biggie, Chris. Definitely hit a like, leave a comment what you thought of it, share it with your friends who are struggling with this fight here as a assassination rogue. So, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the live stream.